Mwasibire muta, mwasibye mutya, amahoro, agandi, byaibo, habari gani, muraho, sangonini, kopango, odeo. For those of you who are wondering what that was, these are some of the various local greetings found in East Africa's diverse languages. Welcome to SheCentre, the female podcast, where I dive into the issues and experiences that affect women everywhere. I am your host, Resti Kansime, and I am passionate about creating a safe space for women to share their stories and triumphs. I want to thank you for tuning into my podcast, and I would love for you to join our community and stay connected with us beyond this episode. You can find us on Instagram at _SheCentre_podcast and follow us on Facebook at the SheCentre podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and hit that follow and like button on our social media to be part of the conversation. Welcome back to SheCentre, the female podcast. I am happy to have you here. A special welcome to the new listeners. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope that you don't just listen to this episode, but you could just scroll down and listen to many more inspiring episodes from other women who have literally changed my life. Yes, I hope you stay with us and join our community. Do not forget to subscribe on social media and be able to keep up to date with everything that's happening with the SheCentre community. I am thrilled to bring you today's episode featuring the remarkable Margaret Birungi. Margaret is a force to be reckoned with, a devoted mother, passionate advocate, and an unwavering champion for women's empowerment in politics and entrepreneurship. So join me as we delve into Margaret's extraordinary journey from her humble beginnings raised by a single mom. Hi to all the single moms out there, and to those who have been raised by single moms. I am one of those people. Hey, to our community. Maggie's current role is as a program manager at a leadership consultancy and a dedicated volunteer in her community church. Despite facing numerous challenges along the way, Margaret's resilience and determination has propelled her forward, shaping her into the inspirational leader that she is today. In this conversation, Maggie shares about her invaluable insights into her experiences navigating the political landscape and supporting women in politics and empowering them to overcome barriers and thrive. We will explore her journey of personal growth from overcoming financial constraints and securing an internship and that changed her life, landing a pivotal role at the National Democratic Institute. But Maggie's story goes beyond professional success. As a mother of 3, she prioritizes family and instills in her children the value of hard work, resilience, and self-reliance. Her commitment to economic empowerment for women and her dedication to creating a better future for family serves as a beacon of hope and inspiration for us all. So, join me as we embark on this enlightening journey with Margaret Birungi. Get ready to be inspired, empowered, and uplifted as we explore her path to success on SheCentre, the female podcast. Please listen until the end, and let's give Maggie a safe space for her to share her story of what happened to her. Hi, Maggie. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Resti. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm fine. How is Kla? My
Kila
child
is
hometown.
Kila is cool. These days, at least we are not sweating so much at night. Rain comes in a little bit.
I heard you guys experience the weather where you need to walk naked on the streets. I don't know if people
for me, it almost turned out like how I was dying in Mombasa last time. I was like, Jesus, what is this? Is the weather now following me?
Man, I know. I can imagine. Now the next thing
lately it was really hot.
Next thing we know, you guys will start winter because global warming is really affecting like seasons
But
everywhere.
like it's raining. It's been raining like it would rain at night, in the morning. So the weather has been, it's been cold. It rained on Easter almost the whole day.
Wow. Okay.
We went to church in the rain, came back in the rain.
Oh, wow. Anyways, yeah. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation to be a guest on the
My God,
SheCentre
it's been pending.
podcast.
I don't know, like,
I
it's
know.
been
I've waited
pending.
for almost half a year.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, but finally, we thank God.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. And yes, not to waste your time, I am exploring the question that says, what happened to you? Because I feel like to understand someone, it's always good to important that it says it's good. It's important. Sorry, my English, Banang. My tongue is becoming heavy. I read this book and it says it's important for you to ask people, instead of saying, Banang, what's wrong with this person? You know, in understanding who they are, it's rather better for you to ask what happened to you, because then that opens you to, in Uganda, I think people like asking, what's your story? I've had people used to ask me that question a lot, and I would be so irritated. I was like, what do you mean, what's my story? But now I understand what happened to you. It's like someone trying to understand, how can I better understand who you are and the things that you do? It's like going to a psychologist, and a psychologist asks, please tell me from the beginning what has happened in your life so that I can know how to help you. But also for human beings, it's good for me to know if you're my friend, or if you're someone who I work with or something like that. I think it's important for me to know what your triggers are, what you've been through in life, so that I can be able to understand. And to me, I feel like explaining this helps me to understand exactly how I can serve women, because as you know, because I put you on my team by force, we are building a female platform, and I feel like I've done the research, and I know I have, like, as they say, the hypothesis. I have done like different regions and stuff. Like, I know how exactly to help women in that way, or like what to put on the platform. But I would also, through this, I would call this research, like through this communication and talking to different people, I am getting to understand what are some of the things like are needed on this platform. And through the communication and through what people say, then it's better for me it's easier for me to understand, okay, because of so many people are saying this and this, it will be good for us to implement this onto the platform to help these women, because it's like an existing problem in East Africa. So yeah, the question is, can you please share about your childhood and how you think it might have impacted the person that you are right now and how you see the world?
Wow, my childhood. My name is Margaret Birungi.
First, tell us what you do, because you're always
Yes.
just there moving around all over the place. We need to know, what does Maggie do, the VIP?
Yes. My name is Margaret Birungi. Yes, I'm Toro by tribe. Both Mutoro and Munyoro. My mom is a Mnyoro, my dad is a Mtoro. Yes, I work in different aspects. I work in my church. I volunteer as a finance and admin. I help them with the money. Yes, I do the bankings and the reconciliations and all that. But also I help in discipleship, like mentoring people, talking to people, like people come with a lot of challenges in church, and then you need to talk to the youth. And then, of course, even the women, there's a lot that is happening. So in my church, I do that. But then also I work as a programs manager at a distinct leadership consult, where we are basically dealing with leaders. We are dealing with young politicians, but also we are dealing with empowering women in politics. And some of the things that I am passionate about and working towards and empowering women in politics is to help them improve on their public speaking capacities, but also helping them. One of the modules that I handle personally is balancing family and politics. Like we are trying to bridge and say, look here, you're a councillor at the local level, and then you're aspiring to be at the national level. make sure that things are working right all through, like build your circles, because we've had challenges where people are in parliament as members of parliament and then families are breaking, because the men are somehow threatened. Men are somehow threatened and they see you, we invite these people, politicians, into these spaces, the hotels, they speak, and then the men are like, you're taking our women away from us, you're taking them to sleep with men. Yes, so those are some of the things, but we're trying to shape them. Yes, I've experienced things, and husband calls and is like, my wife ABC'd, and you're like, hey, look here, she is okay, she is safe. So those are some of the things that I am working on. So we are trying also to help men, but also bring them into this because they are agents of change. If we want this to balance, then we don't have to run with the women alone. We have to bring the men on table. So we've had meetings with them and say, hey, look, this is what happens when we meet them, because we also want them to support their wives. I mean, you cannot do it alone. If family is not in for you, and here in Uganda, if you go to Aspire, they're asking you for your partner. So if your husband is hitting you down first time and saying, don't vote for her, so who is going to vote for you? Yeah, so we are trying to do some of those things. And
that's a very
and make sure that before you go to meet your constituents, your family is happy. Like, you have to know that before you're a politician, you're a mother, you have children, you're a mom, you're a wife to somebody, So, and you need to make sure that you level. You have to level, and we've seen a great change. These councillors have testified during elections. They desert families. Like, somebody just runs from home and go to run after, Bululu, go for vote C. The kids are there without nobody, So we are telling them, if you think it's heavy, can you get somebody to help you at home? Can you have a maid? Can you make sure that you've laid everything for the maid? Can you also improve on your communication skills? Like, make sure your agenda is laid down so your family knows. So your family knows, I have a meeting at this time, I will be in this place at this time, because anything can happen. Accidents can happen, and then because somebody will know, oh, my wife told me she's going in this place, then they can come to your rescue. So those are some of the things that I'm digging deep into, and I am passionate about them. And I am mentoring. And I am mentoring, I think, about over 90 councillors in the different districts.
Wow. So should we expect, I'll ask this later, but should we expect you to be an MP soon, since you're the one mentoring? I'm here, and the political, what did I call it?
I
campaign
prefer
manager.
To be, I prefer to push from behind.
Give my
education.
I prefer to push. Give my education.
I prefer to push from behind.
Give my political science degree a purpose.
I think I had ambitions, and I have been a leader. I have been a leader in school. I was a heady girl, when I was going through the high school, and everybody thought I was taking that direction.
Yeah,
with the kind of our politics.
You do look like a kind of person who would run for politics.
Yeah, with the kind of our politics, I get scared sometimes, but I know I want to give my leadership skills through maybe mentoring and pushing others, because I can direct from the back, and I'm like, hey, go. And they always come to me, there is this, how can I do this? And I guide them. And I guide them like, hey, you don't have to do this. Stop doing this, do this. Yeah, so let me win from behind.
I completely understand what you mean. As a political science major, like, I did international relations, I did like social sciences, then I mastered in political science. And like, when you're growing up, you're like, that seems like something I can do. Politics back in the day was not that bad. Like, you would never hear of someone being shot on the street. Those things were foreign.
Being kidnapped. They come and pick you from your home.
Man, and then killing MPs. So when I finished my master's, I was like, like, really? I shouldn't have studied like psychology, because at least that's a profession that's needed right now after 2020. But then I was like, you know what? I can use my political science skills to do something else, because I don't have to sit there and complain, I want to change the government. I can change it in another way. And I was like, one other way I can do it is by using my skills to make a change in the female empowerment space. So that's something that I also found very, very eye-opening. So
so you ran away also from politics. You ran away from active politics.
I wouldn't say, to be honest, my research, anyway, this is going to be taking us off topic. My research topic was celebrity politics, because to be honest, like, politics in Uganda is one of those things where, like, it's not that exciting. Like, when you see how people are being manhandled, mostly for a woman. So so I decided, if any of my friends or family members ever runs for politics, for whatever, I would volunteer as a campaign manager.
Probably one day somebody will stand out. I think Gerard
Definitely.
wanted to run. Yeah, somebody will come out of that. You never know. But yeah, for me, basically,
maybe I'll join politics in Germany when I become a citizen. So
yeah, maybe. But for me, that is what I do, and I am passionate about it. But also, I help do some volunteer work, charity organizations. There is a Destiny Alive, where we help support the less privileged. So, like, I do some charity, like, like you're in this community and there is this child and all they need is to push them through their P7, or maybe a parent is stranded. A child is supposed to be doing their final exams, and you know what that means. And they're just less by a certain amount of money. So sometimes I just run fundraising from my friends, not really like broad, but I know there are those that are capable of giving me a 50,000 Ugandan shillings, and then we put it up and somebody will do their exams, and you help contribute towards a life, or maybe change a life. And for me, that one counts. That one counts.
That's amazing. So it's actually great that we have started talking about the stuff that you do right now, because normally I jump into asking people what happened to you, probably because I know their life about, like, or I think I know their life. But now I'm seeing that your story that you're going to tell us in a few minutes is going to explain why you're so passionate about charity. And it's going to explain to us why you're so passionate about changing the status quo in Uganda. So, okay, so tell us what your childhood was like, and how you think that childhood has impacted this Maggie that you are right now.
Yes, my childhood, you're saying it's contributing. It is contributing. I don't know, I think 95%. Because, growing up with a single mom, and, like, we are two children. I am her firstborn. And then I have a brother, a Jemo. He's a counsel now that follows me. So for me, I grew up just seeing a mom. And it's not that because my dad passed away. No, he is alive. He's there. Even right now, he's there. But he has another family and other children. So for me, I just got to know when I am just living with my mom. And that is, that is the person that I have known the rest of my life. Like, I've seen this woman, through it all, like trying to make ends meet here and there. So yeah, I grew up in a single parent family. And I think that has really, really worked on me, because for me, I don't know daddy love. So, I don't know. Of course, there were people, there were father figures here and there, but like, it's not really like you're living with a father figure in the house. Like, you wake up and say, "Oh, good morning, Dad," or blah blah blah. Like those things that kids wake up to. Yeah. So for me, I grew up and I knew my mom was it all. Like, I would tell her everything. She was the person I would tell everything, like everything. So she carried all the load. Like, you load her with ABCD, school fees, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, for me, that was my background. But also, I can't say that she did all of it alone 100%. There are people that I saw coming. So for me, on my list here, if I mention parents, but especially in my life has been a life of women, mother figures. Like, it's been mostly these strong women. I've seen women. Yeah, for me, my life is women. The people I call mothers, like, are so many. The list is endless. There are so many in my life.
I relate to you so much.
So
like, when I look back, I'm like,
many.
There are two men I can
Sometimes
say, but
I am. Sometimes I am amazed and I'm like, okay, now who to bless and who not to bless? And they all know, and I love all of them so much. Yeah, I love all of them so much, because somehow, somewhere they contributed. Because I remember, you have to go to school and, okay, mommy has all this. I'll tell you, in my P7, I performed so well. I had 9 aggregates. And one of the schools that I had put on my list where I had Mount St. Mary's Namagunga, and I think I had also Nabisunso on my list by then. That was 1999. And exams come back and the whole school is jubilating. They are calling you mom and they're like, hey, your kids have nailed it. Margaret has nine aggregates. And she burst out in tears. It was so coiling to me. I saw my mom like cry, and like the whole school is running up and down and celebrating, and she burst out. But do you know why she cried? Because she could not afford the school that I wanted. Actually, they had offered me a place. They called me and they're like, hey, we are giving, because I gave them my first choices, and I wasn't able to go there. So that was really hurting. Like I saw her work, toil, and do everything. But I thank God she worked so hard and she saw me into another good school. I somehow kind of got a half bursary in London College of St. Lawrence, one of the good schools, I might say, in this country. So that is why I'm saying that like she worked all her way. So I didn't make it to the schools that I wanted, but at least I made it. She made an effort. And made me enter into that school. And girl, it was so cool. Like that is one of the schools that everybody were like, oh, you guys go to schools, because those were schools of what? Ministers, honorable members, like the wealthy people.
Yeah, they were new schools.
Yeah, they were new. Yeah. So for me, I proudly say that I'm one of the pioneers of London College of St. Lawrence. We started it. They got us from Kabaka's Lake and took us to start London College. Man, for me, up to now, that man, may he so rest in peace. We call him Chibzo. Man, that professor, he did it for me. I wouldn't have seen myself there. He was he contributed so much to my life. Yeah, may he so rest in peace. But man, I salute him. He saw me into that space.
That's good.
Yeah, he saw me into that space. And for me now, my journey started. I began to see light. To see light. You're going to school and there are all these women. Somebody's saying, I'll do a suitcase for Maggie. And then somebody's saying, hey, I'll buy the bed sheets. That kind of life.
Community, yeah.
So for me, yes, that speaks a lot into my family. That's into my life currently. So if you're asking what happened to me, yes, that is it. Because I would see all these women. Yes, I would see all these women bringing effort together. Somebody, Auntie Jolie is going to say, no, don't buy a suitcase. I have one here. Then somebody's going to say, hey, I have the mattress. A cake will come in and say, hey, I'm going to. So, I mean, like there are a lot of figures. Like everybody would contribute literally to see me in school. But I want to thank God because my mom raised me in a way that I would appreciate what is offered to me. Like not like nowadays when people are falling into ditches because a child wants ABCD. I mean, I went to school with the wealthy. I mean, you'd be there on video and people are unpacking these whole loads of boots of their cars, like boxes of milk.
And
somebody's bringing. I have my hard cones. My mom used to go to Chikubo, and I think I bluntly, even me literally these days, Chikubo is my place. I go and buy all my kids' snacks from there. I go and buy. But nowadays, I make the groundnuts myself. I roast them and put them into bottles
but
for
even
snacking.
Back in the day, they used to
but
make
I used
them
to see
for
her
us.
go.
Yeah, they used to make them.
Yes, we used to do that. That is, So for me, that was my level, and I accepted my level, and I knew, okay, Maggie, this is you. But at the end of the day, she would say, as long as I have paid the school fees. Yes, I was happy. As long as I've paid the school fees for you. And for me, one thing I always mention, I have never seen my mom miss any of the videos.
Yeah.
Never in my life. She had never. She would go to my brother at Kabaka's Lake and she would finally come because for us we had KB. Boys don't have KB to bang. But for me, I had all the stories. I want her to tell me how she's doing. Yeah, she would just drop off Jemo's things at Kabaka's Lake and here she heads for London College. And we would have all the chats. I want to know how she's doing. Because, like when we leave for school, she's alone. We've left her there alone. She used to do salon. And then from salon, magic happened. I don't know how she transformed now into being this best chef. Yeah, salon dicasy, also that salon contributed to my life. After school, like I would go to school, then during holidays, I would go and help, like finish up,
To
she would
braid
start
hair.
up and do
Yeah,
the
yeah.
braiding. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
finish up. And even right now, like my daughter's hair, I plait it myself. I don't have to look for
Imagine.
people
Yeah.
to plait her
Imagine.
hair. Yes, I do. I do my girl's
Imagine.
hair myself. I can
Can you
wash it.
imagine? Yeah.
I have,
Mommy was
yeah,
telling me.
I buy.
Mommy was telling me she doesn't know how to plait hair. She was like, "How did I
No,
own a salon and I don't know how to plait hair?" She's like, "Awoli will be
it
there
is because
plaiting, and
Awoli
me, I'm
was
just
doing
walking around."
that.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
for
That's a
me,
good
I
skill.
know,
Yeah.
I can do all that. Yeah. And so that also helped me. So I would go finish up that. And even I think when the salon was done with, when they were transitioning, I'm telling you, like, I don't know how she jumped into this chief stuff. But when the salon was done, um, so I think at that moment, like when salon was done, we now used to go. There are these people sorry, we used to reach out in their homes. Like they call you, you go and place directly there. So I used to go with my mom. Like she starts, I finish up, and like we
Oh,
retain
wow.
all our money, so that we don't split it. And that was during
Wow.
my P7 vacation. That was P7 vacation
Yeah.
that I would go with her. And by the time we go, we have done our budget. She's saying, okay, from plating this hair, we are passing via Owino. Now we have our budget. We are stocking posho. We are stocking beans. We are stocking
Wow.
rice. So that
Yeah.
is how we used to do our things. And for me, even up to date, that is
Yeah.
what I do. That is what I do. Because there are moments
Yeah.
when you don't have cash on you, but at least you'll know that there is food in the house. Yeah, you'll have
Yeah.
what to feed the children. So that is what
Yeah.
she always said. At least I know I don't have cash on me, but you can eat food. There is something to cook and eat so
Wow.
that you won't starve.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
That's really
So I
amazing.
think that has seen me through to today. Yes. And for me, I don't believe in just being there without doing anything. And even I think I entered into job industry in my S6 vacation. That is literally when I dived into it. Finished my exams. She was working somewhere, and I told her, "Hey, I need a job in this place where you're working. Let me
Oh.
clean. Let me come and clean." Because I had no qualifications then. But also, I remember one of the things that I did in my S6 vacation. I went and pinned myself at now it's Carrefour. By then, it was ShopRite.
Yeah.
They used to ask you to come. I wrote an application and I just went, which even application? Like I didn't know, but I was looking for something over like house cleaning or go and work in the
Wow.
apartments. I went and pinned. I wrote an application and went and pinned it on those boards where they used to put an employee of the month. Is it the manager? I went and requested to pin my application there. So I would pin. Then people call you. Of course, even there are those that would just want to call. Man, I've seen days.
That's
I've
quite
seen
interesting
days.
that people actually don't do that. Here, it's like the normal thing. Like when you go to a
And
supermarket
even
or
here,
university boards, there are people looking for apartments, there are people who are looking for jobs, and like it's a normal thing. Even when you're looking somewhere, someone will tell you, "Why don't you just put it in the supermarket?" So it's interesting that you actually did
wow.
that.
Yes, I did it then. I did it. It used to be, I think here it was violated. It was violated because at some point you'd get phone calls from
Security
guys that are
reasons, yeah?
just, guys,
Yeah.
even guys who just say, I have this job for you, can I pick up? And man,
But that's
insecurity. And then you'll be
that's
like,
actually
no, you
quite
don't have to go.
that's actually quite interesting. That means that no, yeah, it actually makes me understand why it's very tough for people to do certain jobs back home than it is here, because here there's that sense of security. Like no one is going to call you and con you
No,
in
it
that
is
way.
insecure. It is insecure because for me, I remember there's a time, man, I was with my friend and they were almost driving us. I don't know to where, but these men were joking. Now that was what for Antonios around there. There used to be a
Wait, was it
lot
from
of
the job
nonsense guys. Just
application?
yes, from the job application,
So what happened?
they
Please
called
tell
and
us
they're
this
like, "Hey,
story.
you applied." They were like, "Oh, you applied for this job. There is a supermarket, I don't know, in Chalwajala, somewhere there. You come and we drive you. We want to take you there." But I was so conscious. And I was telling my friend, you know what? These guys are lying. Because even the way like they appeared, the appearance, I was already. You know, my instincts were telling me these guys are not right. And it had become a corner for con men. Like they would always be there. They pick these numbers from wherever you've put yourself and they call you. We're here, we have a job. And then I think they would be looking up, because that's the time when they were stealing phones from people. And then also kidnapping ladies, because you'd come innocently. And then because they were telling us to sit in their car, that was like 6 p.m. coming to 7. So I was asking them, which kind of job is this? You know, like which supermarket are you taking us at night? So can we do it tomorrow morning? And the guy is insisting that all get in the car. I'm like, no. So man, I survived. I survived somehow. I survived. I would have driven off, I don't know up to where, but I survived. But also, you know, I was so conscious because there's nothing I'll do without informing that woman. She was so strict. Hey, where do you go? Yeah. She was so strict, man. You wouldn't do anything without telling her. Her world was very, very strict. Up to now, I don't know if she will be strict with her grandchildren. You know, these days they are so loving.
That's how
these kiddos.
You know how mom is always saying, "Hey, grandma, what are you to?" And for us, of course we enjoyed that routine of comfort and stuff. But every time I tell her we did work, she's like, "What did you do?" That woman literally told like.
We did nothing. Work. We used to go to those banana plantations.
Yeah, but
that is now up to my that is S6 level.
Yeah.
But also there's one thing that I want to share with you. Yes, you're asking that question, and there are a lot of things that contribute to that. But also I want to tell you that, towards my A level, we had a discussion with mommy, and we were looking at, because she was so worried about our university tuition. So we sat, I'm the big daughter. So we sit and she's like, you guys, I'm scared about tuition for university and blah, blah, blah. I stepped out of St. Lawrence. So I told mommy, you know what? Because I think fees is kind of hiking, I can step out and get to a day school where I can commit from home for my 2 years, that is S5 and S6. And then we were eyeing, that was Namirembe Hillside. For James, my brother, and we are like, okay, because this guy is really working good. If he went to this secondary school, he would go to government, he would get a government scholarship.
Yeah.
Man, that decision, stepping out of Central. So I was like, okay, I think I have to let go. So I had to let go. And I was like, okay, I stepped down for my brother, because also by then that school was paying so much. But I was like, if mommy can put together, like what? Yes, I was like, if mommy can put together partly of mine. So I had to look for a local school. And she was worried. Are you really going to make it to the university? I told her I am going to work hard. I'm going to work my life out to see that I get into university. So I stepped down from my brother, and that is how Jemo was able to go to Namirembe Hillside, and also like towards the period when the results were coming back, man, I told that guy we have to go to church and pray, because like we could not risk it. Guys with church, I had to grab him. I told him 31st, come and we go. This is the only prayer request we are tabling before the Lord. Like we've got to pray that you make it on government scholarship.
Yeah.
Rest, I can't tell you that the time the results came and the council was in the newspapers, and for us, we're not even buying newspapers. My mom wasn't even buying New Vision or Daily Monitor. Where does she get the money to buy newspapers? It is Auntie Jolie that called her, because she works at Ministry of Finance. So she was like, Aboli, where are you? Please go and buy. Even right up to date, my mom has that capis from the newspaper.
Wow. Abol is very sentimental, so I can imagine
she kept it. So he's like, where are you? Yes. So Auntie Jolie is like, Aboli, Monica, where are you? Can you go and buy this? Jemo is in the newspapers. You girl, you don't know. For me, I didn't even mind about myself. Like for me, I was last priority because you know what the prayer request was, and that was our transitioning into university. But I also thank God when I went to check on mine, I had also passed. And I was given a place at Chambago University, and Jemo was given a government scholarship. He went on government at Makerere University, and he was given law. Yeah. Yeah, and right now, mommy proudly has a council, you know, out of her hard work.
We all have someone to defend us.
Yes, you
Yes,
know.
that's a
Yeah, so
very
man, that is how I
that's a
got
very
into
good act.
university.
That's a very amazing act. What did you study in your university? Bachelor's.
I did, yes, I did the development studies.
Ah, that's interesting. And the masters you did?
I did development studies, but also I did some certificates on conflict management and conflict resolution with the United States, that Peace University. Yes, I did. And then, so currently it's human rights, masters in human rights at Uganda Matters University, Nkozi.
That's so I can see
Yes.
all your work is in the same direction. Okay, so can you speak
Yes, but I've
about
also done
maybe a
some
little
other
bit?
certificates in gender-related issues and all that, because
Yeah, and
you
how
can deal with women.
how was your life at the university?
My life at university. Did I even have a life at the university? Now, because I told you in my S6 vacation, I was looking for a job. Thank God there are these apartments in Mbuya where mommy used to work. She used to cook there. So I asked you, I requested her to talk to the lady that they would give me a job as a cleaner in one of the apartments. So now that job, I used to do part-time because I had to go to university. So I requested them. So I would wake up very early in the morning. I go at the apartments, I clean up to lunchtime because then when it came to asking for a program, I had to go for evening. So I would work from morning up to lunchtime. Then lunchtime, I just change my clothes and get my books and run. Thank God Chambogo was not very far away from Mbuya. So it was easy for me to connect. And that is why I strategically, you know, like I was strategically choosing my things. Knowing now, Maggie, you're staying in Mbuya. If you want to work, why would you run to Makere? So I chose Chambogo University. So from Mbuya through Nakawa, I would easily connect to Chambogo. So yes, so that was my life. My life, I didn't even have life at university because I would dive in and immediately run for lectures. Lectures would run up to almost 9 p.m. And this woman was worried. She's like, now this girl, you know, like by the time you get home, it is 10 p.m. And that was the daily routine. By the time I go to bed, it is like 11. Sometimes I have coursework, you know, you're reading for tests. Man, but then you want the job. Even there's a time she told me you're going to stop working. And I'm like, no. Because, you know, she would wake up in the middle of the night and Maggie's still awake, trying to catch up with my books, man. I have coursework, and during the day, I don't have time. I have presentations to make. There's this group coursework. If you don't contribute, you're not awarded marks. You girl. So, like, that was my life. So, for me, by the time I graduated, I can tell you, I didn't make friends. People left university with boyfriends. I didn't have any because my life was people were worried for me, thinking now this girl, But one of the good things that happened for me at those apartments where I was working, the apartment that I was working in and cleaning is where I landed on this American chick, man. God bless her. She was called Jennifer Hengstenberg. That chick, you know, when time comes and then they want you to go for internship, then you're looking for placements. You're looking, and then I always wanted, where does this woman work? So, and I didn't know where she works because we wouldn't interface with them. You know, you enter the apartment after she has gone out. Anything she wants you to do privately, she would write a sheet for you. Like, we would rarely interface. So I bring my letter from the university and I press it at the table and I leave it for her. They are requesting if she knows anywhere she can recommend me. And guess what? She just told me. I come in the morning, and that day she waited for me. So I come in and I know I put in my key, and my key is not opening the apartment, and she opens for me. And I enter and I'm like, wow. So like we interface and I look at this woman. She's like, Maggie, you have been a very, very good girl, you know. And then I tell her, because I had told her, if there is anything that you want me to fix in your apartment, you let me do it before noon or before 1 because I have classes. So she knew that I was a student. So I tell her, you see, they've asked us to go for internship and I'm looking for a placement. in an NGO. And for me, that was my life. I always wanted to work in an NGO because I want to travel, like I wanted to be all over, I wanted to, yes, be all over, travel Uganda. I don't mind, whether you send me where I will go. So do you know what happened? Little did I know that this lady was the country director of NDI, National Democratic Institute. Girl. That is how, yes, NDI, that is how I dived, that is how I dived into NDI. No interview, no, no these small connections of blah, blah. I just dived through the country director. She's like, okay, come, Margaret, I know you make it. And I'm like, okay, but see my schedule, still I'm going in NDI, but also my schedule is half day. I put in my request and she's like, it's okay as long as you're able to do all that you have to do by noon or by lunchtime. I was put at the front desk for NDI, but also I was placed onto the component of politics. Now you see how I am growing. I was put into politics. So the sector that I was working in. She just chose it for me because she used to give me tasks, like make her appointments, call parliament, schedule here and here, speaker's office. So I think because when I got there, by the way, we were about 3 interns. But they gave me to who is even still up to now, my supervisor in the current projects, Amy team. Like that is how we worked. So we worked and somehow I picked interest into the political, sector. And then these other guys were dealing with civil society. So that is how I dived in and I used to do my work. I make her schedules, I alert her, you have this meeting at this time. So man, I was working my way out and they were telling me when you enter an organization, you pass very well internship, they can retain you. Hey, I said, yeah, Maggie, bring your all energy. Rest, I worked. Like like I would be all over. Take letters to parliament. Is it drop this way? Deliver this way?
And that gave you connections.
I was all
also.
over.
Yeah.
And that gave me connections also, speaker's office, Lopes office. Like in parliament, there's no way I don't. This parliament of Uganda, like there's no office like I didn't know. Like I
been
knew.
Inside that building. I have passed outside. I don't even know how it looks like.
me.
I've watched TV of how it looks like.
I knew all the wings. Tell me southern wing, is it western wing, eastern wing? Like I knew what get through and get to where. I knew if I want to go to speaker's office, I can get through this. Like I knew all those corridors. I knew all the corners. I took all the lifts. So now time comes and they want to choose to retain just 2 interns who were 3. And I am there. Hey, we were all praying. My supervisor comes in and recommends and is like, wow, Maggie, you're doing a great job here. If you really score highly, if these people can retain you, man, you'll have made it. And I'm working all my way rested. And tell you what, I was given from internship, they give you program assistant. So at the end of my internship, I am waiting and praying. And here they give me a letter and they ask me, it is very okay if you want to continue working with us even after your research work. It is very okay. You can work. And I'm like, okay, but half day. And they're like, yes, you can work half day. Hey, I scored. I'm like, yes. I go back and tell mommy. Mommy was happy. But because I wouldn't maintain the standards, I would wake up very early in the morning because food was very expensive in Nakasero. That was Tanan Avenue. Next to Okello House, there was some state house offices there. Yeah, that's around Kampala Club. Like the only areas you'd go for food is Kampala Club. Like, man, I would not afford it. I would see people out of the office going for lunch, and I'm like, Maggie, like you can't follow these guys. So I sit with mommy and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start pack my food. Good enough. It was a very good organization. They had a mini fridge, but they also had a microwave. So I was like, Maggie, here you're catered for. I would wake up and prepare my food. Irish, just simple food. Irish, I would fry my Irish as I'm preparing myself, put on my Irish on the what? what is that stove we used to have for paraffin. No, stove for paraffin, not pressure cooker. Wouldn't have had pressure cooker by then, no. So I would put on my food as I prepare myself. Then I would do maybe rice, peas. Yeah, I would prepare my food because food was very expensive. Nakasero, Tanan Avenue. Now that is Kampala Club. There is Fang Fang. There is Sheraton. Like you can't eat food anywhere there. And of course, you're just starting. Your program's assistant. What salary? You're just diving into the corporate world. So I used to carry my food. To work. So I put it in the fridge. Then lunchtime, as people are moving out, I remain at the reception, and then I just warm my food and eat from there. But then before even people realized, they were like, "Hey man, this chick." So they were like, "No, we got to start saving." I put their culture. People started bringing food. They learned from me. I think they were thinking, yes. So people realized, man. So people, because I mean, you're walking out there and you're just going to eat rice still the same. So guys were like, no. So at one point, I increased on the portions. I had a friend there, Kellen. So I increased on the portions. I would share. At first, I would carry my small amount, and then with time, I realized there are those that are interested. They are also affected by the pocket. So yeah, I increased the portions of my food. And you know, mommy is a people person. Like she just meets one of your friend. So the next time you're packing, she's like, please pack for this one, also put for this one also. So like you're literally carrying food almost for the whole office because she got to know the people and all that. So my portions increased. So I would take food almost for everyone. So would share, would eat together. Yeah, so I made friends, we got along, through my journey. From then I started being promoted from a program assistant to senior program assistant, from senior program assistant to programs officer. So I kept on climbing the ladder, of course with an increment in salary.
So yeah, you got a salary increase, you got what, and life started.
Then there's also got benefits, insurance. I was able to insure my mom and my brother. Of course, they were the only dependents I had by then, so I insured them. So life started, changing. You'd say, and you're like, God, you're faithful. Throughout the journey, would sit on the table and discuss. You say, I have this. This is this. So I then also being the firstborn, now my mind started, thinking, I would save money. And what I was looking up to that time was like, hey, we gotta get somewhere, My whole life when I started working, I'm like, I need to help this woman. Yeah, because I'd seen her work with her. I'm like, I need to work hard and help this woman, take a portion of the responsibility, And for me, by the way, marriage was the last thing on my list.
You were too busy.
People were always worried. I didn't have time for marriage. Marriage, last resort. People were even worried for me. People are like, this girl, everything, work, church, job, church. Hey. So, yeah. So that's when I started seeing, and then I work and I save my first salary. I bought land. I tell mom, you know what, we have to acquire land. And currently we are building on that land. That is where mom is putting her house. Yeah.
Wow.
For me, that was the first thing that, you wake up and you have owned, a plot with a land title in your names. I was like, hey, Maggie, you've hit it. Yeah. I was saving for my mom, and I'm like, no, this woman has told so much. I've seen her, literally, she wasn't putting aside anything for herself, So I'm like, what will I give my mom? What can I give her? I am like, Maggie, the only thing you have to work towards is to secure acre land, and at least you guys can put their home, because we didn't have a permanent home. So I'm like, are we going to keep moving from here to there, to there, to there? So all my money, I was working, I wasn't going out. Give tithe in church, save the rest. Because I told you my life was was work, church girl. My wife was church. Even at the point, my mom used to say, that one is Chiwewe's daughter. That one is Pastor Isaac Chiwewesi, because I used to go to Kansanga Miracle Center. So she was like, oh, that is Chiwewe's daughter. So yeah, anybody comes home to look for Maggie on Saturday, Maggie's at Kansanga Miracle Center. Like, you can't find her. You come on Saturday when you think she's not working, she's not there. Even Sunday, sure deal. Like, there was no, so people were worried for me, Bambi. And they're like, this girl, will she really? And they're like, okay, if she doesn't bring a politician, she's going to bring a pastor.
A pastor. Indeed.
Yeah, so they knew if it is not parliament-related work, now pastor. You know, but then my salary, I get my piece of land, and so basically, I think for me, because I grew up seeing my mom like doing it all, so like now those are the shoes that I was diving into, you know, like wanting to do this and this and this to make sure that ends meet. And for me, up to date, you know, I sit there and I'm like, sure, like really, like you're sitting crying about something, and you have your hands, you have your legs, like you're there, you're not sick, you're healthy. You know, I listened to this guy, I think he's called Liz Brown, who says that you see, like whether you've gone through it or you've grown through it, you know. So for me, there are things that I have grown through and not just passed through them, you know. It's not just a matter of going through it, but like you grow through it. You pick, there are those things that you pick along the one, you're like, this, yes, you keep collecting in your basket, and they keep manifesting. And for me, I think, my childhood has a lot to tell about me to date. And I always tell women in my circle, and I'm like, you can't sit there and cry, you know, because a man is not doing ABCD, so you are crying. I mean, why are you crying? And one thing I must say, for me, I grew up to be independent, I think, really, because like there's nowhere to cry, Reste. There's no father that you're going to say, oh, my dad, you're responsible for ABCD. My mom already, I'm feeling sorry for her because I am seeing her doing a lot. So I don't even want to task her. You know, I don't want to put her to task because of certain things. So for me, really, what happened to me, my childhood has a lot to tell about me, because even my friends know. My no is a no, and my yes is a yes. If I say no to something, it is a no. If I say I'm going to do, rest, I will do whatever it takes. I will struggle to make sure I do. And if I say I'm not going to do, just know I'm going to chill about it. Like I will not do. I am done, and I am done. If I am in it, I am in it. If I am out of it, I am out of it. Like I don't, there's no compromise. Even though you see, but there is nothing to compromise about, because for me, I saw my mom, like she's owning up everything, not crying for anybody, not blaming, by the way. I've also learned, like, you make decisions and own them. Don't be there crying, oh, because this one did this, because this one did not help me. No, but you're there, you can help yourself.
That victim mentality,
No. No. And for me, things have hit us. Yes, things have hit us along the way. Let me tell you, Reste. But you own your decisions. You say, this is what I've decided, and I am going to own up to it. I remember there's a day my mom said, I am not going to get married again. And I'm like, this woman is joking. But till to date, my mom has never, even I grew up, Reste, I never saw any man at our home. Because she decided and she lived up to it, gave birth to 2 children. She used to say, I am going, wherever I go, my children. If somebody wants to house me, my children, or you give me a mattress, I will fall there with my 2 children. And that was it. And she never kept on, that blaming people. Oh, because these ones have not helped me, or because my husband threw me out. No. And for me, I tell my fellow female, like, we cannot hold it on men. Yes, a person who has disappointed, that is part, those are blows in life. And you cannot, we are not going to live swift lives. Those blows are there. They will come out, and they have hit us. But man, we've got to get up. You get up and you walk again. You get up and move. You just have to keep positive. You pray to your God and keep in there. These milestones we have walked. It has been God helping us. You see, if you cry and chill, then what? You have to figure out your next step. Yes, Maggie grew up without a father figure, without a dad, but my dad is there. And by the way, I even support him. If he calls me, he needs something, I'll give him money when I have. I don't hold a grudge on him because he's a parent. For me, I don't carry on whatever happened between the two. They know better. So for me, I am here. I know he didn't contribute in my life, but he gave birth to me, thank God. And I'm here. I've enjoyed the goodness of the Lord in this land of the living. So I don't hold it onto anybody. Yes, I am just thankful to God, and I'm like, God, thank you because I have a life. Maybe if they hadn't separated, I would be in the village in Fort Portal deep there, with over how many children now. Maybe God saw and is like, no, because there is a future for people, you got to move. So sometimes we have to know that some conditions and circumstances and challenges are shaping us for something better. So we don't have to stay crying. Maybe I would never have come to Kampala. I know I came at a tender age because I got to understand when I'm here. But I wasn't born here because my birth certificate talks something else. So it is in Kabarole. So that means there was a destiny for me, there was a destiny for me, and whatever has happened in my life does not have to hold me because I am still looking ahead. Right now I have children. I didn't mention I have children. I have 3 children. I have Melissa. Melissa is now 7 years. I have Jason. Jason is now 5, and I have Melan. Melan is going to make 3 in May. You see, now you have to wake up and work for your children, whether a man is there or is not there. The fact that you brought those children to this planet Earth, you have a responsibility as a mother. If you can contribute, all contribute. Me, I have an independent mind. By the way, and that one also somehow, I don't know whether it's a challenge or it is a strength. I don't question rest day in my life. Whether you're there as a husband, there are things I do, I'm like, okay, now first ask, first consult, first what? There are decisions which I just make and I inform after, If there is no food in the house and have the money, I will buy. If my children ask me for something, I don't have to first say the children want. So I tell children, I've said, money, we want this. Now I have to first inform somebody else. I will just get it for my children and I give them. And they will know mommy has given us this. So for me, that is who I am because I saw my mom provide, I saw her provide literally. So me, I stand in for my children, no matter what. I don't have to first make phone calls. Yes, if there is a need that somebody, I need help. Yes, that is very understandable, but I cannot just throw in the towel and yell and cry. Because you see the man is not doing ABCD, so you should go and hang yourself. No.
Yeah.
You have to get up, you have to rise up and go. I mean, things have happened to us, but we have emerged victorious, We have gone through school and here we are, because me, I believe, and to all the women out there, whether you've been raised by a single mom, you can make it. It is just your determination, you're focused, and you believe in yourself. And just you speaking to yourself and say, I can make it, I can get there. You walk every day and look up to your goal and say, this is where I want to be. Trust me, Reste, we can make a change. We can make a difference. We don't have to be cry babies all the time because men are not doing this so that women feel, like this is the end of life.
True.
No,
That's true.
No.
That's very true. And you've spoken about something that has been on my mind. On Sunday, my pastor preached about page turn, and he was talking about how is it the Holy Spirit or God? Your story is still being written, and there is another page that's coming. So you can either get stuck on that page, like he was talking about how
True.
like Peter. He was like, there are 2 people, Peter and then Judas. Peter did equally the same thing that Judas did, but for him, he turned his page. He allowed the Holy Spirit or God to come into his life and turn his page to the next chapter. And the next chapter was him in Acts chapter 1, preaching and giving birth to the church. And then there is Judas. For him, he stayed there. He stayed in his story and he said, this is it. My life is stopping here. And he killed himself. So what you're trying to explain is that exactly, because what he said was what has happened to you or your story right now or your adversity, whatever you're going through, it's not your identity. It's just an
It's
event.
not. It's
And
not.
that's
And
literally
you
what you're
see,
describing. Yeah.
yes, and you see, still, this guy says, Liz always says that you will never grow when you avoid doing. I mean, like, you just have to keep going.
Yes,
So, like,
yes.
how are you going to grow? You
Learn from
can't.
it.
You can't. Yes, you
Yeah.
just have to learn and keep going, because there is no, if you say, oh, I am done, I am stuck, let me hold my things back to Chalo down there, then that is it. But if you say, Siva Kampala, I am going to stick in this city, and I am
And
going
it
to
will
work
look for
my
me.
way out. Yes, and I'm going to work for
Yes.
every opportunity to
Yeah.
position myself,
Yeah.
to network, to look for opportunity. Man, you can thrive. We are
Yeah, you
here
just
to
give
stay.
it your all. Yeah, and I
We
think
shall write books.
exactly. And what you said earlier was also very, very interesting, or I would say it stood out to me. You say you have now 3 children and you need them to see that you didn't give up. And that's something that my
Yes.
pastor was saying. He said, like, what you're doing right now is like you're going to impact the future generation. Like your children's children will be like, we are like this. Like how your mom, imagine if your mom, after she broke up with your dad, stopped there and
Had
said,
thrown
again,
us
let me
there.
fall into this depression. I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Amana, like, let's just stay there and just suffer. But what she did is what inspired you. And now it is, how do they call it? A snowballing effect. Because like from her, it has impacted you. Now, Melissa,
Yes.
Melanie, and whatever, they are looking at you, and they will grow up, and then the generations to come, you will find your great grandchild saying, yes, my dad did this and this and this, and my mom did this and this and this, and that is why we are the way we are. So that's a very interesting way to profound way to look at it.
And for me, I really look up to her, because like there are things, and I'm like, what would have my mom done in this situation? I mean, like what would she do? What would she do? And then there are even things that I fight my way out without even letting her know. She would just know after I have gone through it. Sometimes she's like, but you girl,
So
like I have gone through. Yes, she gets to hear it, man, when we have gotten into blows and I have gone over it. And by the time I tell her, it is even gone. Like I can tell her when I'm not even sobbing, because those blows come. But you see, as a parent, it's better after you've come out of it and you tell her, when you're not even crying, she will not break. Of course, she'll be hurt, but she won't be so broken, like seeing you crying and she's like, oh, my child is so broken. No, when you talk to a parent when you're strong, she will know, okay, she has overcome. She has gone through it.
She's strong.
Because you
I've done
speak
a good job.
you speak boldly and without tears rolling. She's like, yeah, okay. It pains, but she's gone through it. And that is life, because we cannot run away from these things. They are all over. Blows are everywhere, but how do you run through them to get to the finishing point? Because we have to finish well. Even the Bible says that he who began a good work in us is going to bring it to accomplishment. Yeah, we will celebrate. I know there are days where we will sit and like, yeah,
we did it. But I have a question to ask you, because I do understand there are those moments where, like you said, how they say strong people, check on your strong friends. You're probably one of those strong friends, because they say that strong friends or strong people, like, those people who hold everything together, they're like the foundation of everything. They are rich as a point where they need support, where they need help, where they need someone to also come and be like, man, you've been carrying us through this. Let me be there for you. Like how you did it for your mom. You said, you know what, mommy, you're fighting every day. Let me get a job and try to also like lift the foundation for you.
Yeah.
How have you been able to manage those days or those moments where you just feel like, man, life is squeezing me right now? Like, what do you do in those moments?
I think for me, Rest, one thing that I have learned in life is to speak to me, like to speak to Maggie. You get, I have learned to speak to me first before even I throw it at my friends, and they know me. Like, yes, there are moments when I break and I will tell them, but even when I tell them, I have already talked to me. My conscience, like I learned to first speak to Maggie. The me, because when if people will come and say, oh, sorry, but I have to first speak to me. When I have spoken to me, and I have made myself to accept it, acceptance is very key. I accept it and I'm like, okay, Maggie, it has come like this. And I always tell myself, you have these children here. There are moments where a child will just bang into your bedroom and they find you sobbing. Yeah, you will cry. You will cry. But as long as you cry your tears and say, Maggie, this is you. You've got to get up and this is it. And accept, acceptance is very key. When you accept that this has happened, and rest, you have no powers to change it, to reverse it, like it has happened. You've had a heartbreak, it has come. Nobody can mend your heart for you, rest. There is nobody. These therapists, yes, they will speak these words, the cancer, but nobody can mend your heart for you.
You have to do the work.
You have to do the work. By the time they come in, you have to do the work, because I have seen people talk to people and somebody's like, you guys, you don't tell me, like you're telling me nothing, like don't. So it has to be you, because you know where it hurts most. I can tell you, always stay sorry about this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I understand how you feel. You don't understand how somebody feels. It is only myself. So for me, I have learned. I just sit Maggie down and I tell her, Maggie, this is gone. Like, accept, this is a dead deal. Like, it has gone, it has gone. So I speak to my inner person and I'm like, okay. So by the time my friends come, because they come to a Maggie who has accepted. You see, so they come to chill with me, to encourage me, because for me, most times, many of them know me. They'll say, okay, Maggie, whatever decision you take, we are behind you. That is what they say. Maggie, whatever you decide for us, we are for you. Whatever it is. So it has to be with me first. Because if it is not with me, if I come and tell you, Resta, you see this and you're going to tell me. You're going to tell me what you feel. Or what is right at that moment. That is why people always advise and they leave the decisions to us. Somebody will say, for me, you would do
and the
ABCD,
advice might be from my experience. Like, I might be advising you based on what I went through, which is not the same story as your story.
But also we had different. Our hearts are different. Rest there's something that you can absorb. For example, these days in marriages, and they could be infidelity, and somebody's like, for me, I have no problem if my man does ABCD and he comes back to me. But then for me, I would be like, man, that shit I can't take. So you see, we are totally different. For me, I've already decided. I would say like, no, I cannot take that shit. And then for you, like, no, I would forgive him. So we are totally different.
Yeah, and that's
what
okay,
you can take,
I guess.
Yes, and it is okay. And it is okay because we are two different personalities. Our backgrounds are different. Like for me, I am brought up.
What happened to you is different from what happened
to
the
the other person.
I don't accept.
Yes, for me, I don't take nonsense. Like, don't tell me. There is nothing to tell me here. And then somebody else is like, no, we can talk through things, we can work out things. So we are totally different. We are totally different. And for me, that one has really, really, so me, I talk to me. Because me, I know Maggie, I would just tell myself, okay, Maggie, this has happened. Please keep going. Because I'm not going to stay there crying. I have to go on. I have children that are looking up to me. Will I close myself in the room and then the children will not eat? I'll be like, Maggie, wake up. Papa, slap yourself, get up, dress up, and please. And for me, by the way, another thing that helps me very much, Reste, I like talking about whatever is deeply. I think what affects people,
if they don't
I think what affects people if they don't talk, like you keep it and you want to die with it. And I think that's what takes you out. For me, my method is bring it out on table. Spill it. Let's see how
what does this do for you? Does it help you to get perspective from what other people are thinking about your situation?
Yes,
or you just
it helps
do it like
me.
out of okay.
No, it helps me. And there are times people say, Maggie, you're reacting so fast, like they're thinking I am making a decision so fast. Yeah, like you're deciding so fast, and I never change my decisions. They always say, but man, she said that from day one. And she has not changed. Because me, I want to spill. Yes, I want to spill on that table, and me, I tell men, let us talk about it. You're my husband. ABC does happen. Can we talk? Can we talk about it? Then for me, I will just go out my way. I will know how to chew it. Give it to me the way it is, and let me know how to deal with it. instead of you being there wanting to lie around, because if you lie and I find out, now that one is different again. It is it is disappointing. It is losing trust. It is a lot of things. So just put for me on table. Let us talk about this thing. Let's eat it bit by bit. By the end, by the time we finish at the end, I mean, like, you will have healed. But if you try to contain, man, you will burst out so badly. You will burst out so badly, because
that's the importance of therapists, because they are the people who have been trained to understand different, like, psyches, different minds, and basically what you're explaining is talk therapy. When you go and talk out your problems, apparently, like, this has been the therapeutic thing for many years. That's why you find a person who doesn't have friends, family, people to confide in, they are more prone to depression and all these other mental health problems. But
especially people who have issues with trust, people who have issues with trust, because they can't trust anybody, they can't open up to anyone, you know. They don't feel like they can confide.
Someone who has a community, family, like they have that collective action going on, and someone who they can confide in. They can go through the worst thing and they come out differently. And then someone meets you and says, how are you strong? And yet you went through the same thing I went through. So that's one thing I'm learning, because I was speaking to a friend just the other day, I think yesterday or something. And she was telling me how, like, she was like, oh, rest of the work you're doing, what I know you've been through some stuff in your past, but you see, it's different, because she was like, yeah, you told me how you were raised by a single mom, your dad was not there, and yet you are okay, like how you're handling your life. And she was like, me, I was raised in the proper nuclear family, went to the best
mother,
school.
father.
She had everything that she needed, and she was like, and I'm the one who is out here hurting myself, and I'm depressed and stuff like that. That made me to think about a lot about it. She was like, yeah, it's important to know that, they say, like, statistics, hey, you need to be there to have a nuclear family. Like how some women, when they are separate, like when they are, like what you said, like your man is cheating on you or they are beating you or something, and then you stay, you're like, oh, my children, they need this, they need us to be married. But guess what? That might be the thing that destroys your children, actually, because if they see
it destroys them. There are men, there are boys that have taken up decisions that they're like, I don't want to be like my father, or maybe when I grow up, ABCD, because they have seen, and these children can see. These children these days,
they
like, they will
absorb
know,
like sponges.
your daughter will know when you're not happy. Like, they can see it and say, no, mommy is not happy today. So however much you want to pretend, you're pretending because your children. Me, I think we should not just give reasons. Let us die because my children. Let me do this because my children. Because you think that you're helping them, but you could be damaging them. You could be thinking that you're saving them, and yet you're damaging them. They are dying psychologically. You don't know what this is doing to them. Like, they are being tortured, and they can't tell you as their mom. They cannot tell you. They cannot confide and open up, but it is leaving a damage on their brains. They are seeing these things. They see them and they just try to contain. They see it and they just try to contain. By the time a child will burst out, man, they will have a lot of recording. Like, they will have kept data that you can't even, But me, I think those issues of saying, oh, let me stay in this bad marriage because children, no. Me, Maggie, I wouldn't stay. I wouldn't. I wouldn't subject my children to that, because it works bad on them. It gets from you, because you're already dying. You're dying stress, you're dying depression, but also the children are being affected. So what kind of children is that?
Happening, and then you react to them in a different
what are
way
you doing to your children? Of course you do. There is a lady that was sharing the daughter has grown up and she never wants to do anything with her mom, because whenever she has pain, she would inflict the pain on that child, the firstborn, because she was the old girl. Slap, beat. So why would you do that?
I saw in 2020 that video that came out. Oh, that thing made me cry. Like, it triggered me so much.
Yeah, and you see sometimes
who beat up a little girl who was like, a little kid who was like 2 years or 1 year old, and she started beating the kid, and then later on, when they arrested her, the woman, they found out she has a mental, like, she has some problems she's going through, so she has been beating the child instead.
And just like even on social media, these days things move so fast, and people blame so fast. Like before you rush to
They don't
judge,
give empathy. Yeah.
before you conclude, do you want to understand, what is behind that? Would you want to understand what is happening? A person will respond, a parent, and they say, is this the real parent of this child? Yes.
Exactly.
They love them and they gave birth to them, but something is behind there,
Yeah.
and she's inflicting all the pain. She, instead of going to this man and box and what, she's saying now
Hurt
this
people.
child.
Hurt people.
This
That's
yes,
exactly
this
why
person
I'm
has to
asking this question, what happened to you? Because you might be someone out there who is living your life angry or something like that. There is something that, like, we are not born angry. We are not born. Like, when you come into this world, we are peaceful, we are happy people.
True.
But we start absorbing. Because this book that triggered, that gave me this question, what happened to you? It's actually a book. The psychiatrist was saying, like, children from as young as 0 years old can be impacted by their surrounding, and that is going to affect the whole of their lives.
True.
So basically,
Listen, do you realize even these days?
Do
you realize even these days a parent can just put on cartoon for children and leave them there by themselves?
Exactly,
like,
and that is
abandonment. There has, thank you. And there's not been that, a baby, you just put a baby, like I saw you did your baby there, and then you just put them there, put on cartoon and press them in front of that TV, and for you go, like you're there, you're chilling, you don't even want to. So there is no love, like you're not talking to that baby, you're not cuddling with the baby, like you're not touching the baby, you're not giving them that care that they want. All you put before them is that cartoon. Let the cartoon speak to them, and for you, you're there because either, because you're in pain, because you're in pain, you've left the TV to raise your kids. Because you're in pain, the kids cannot talk to you. I mean, do they come? Because for me, you see, my children always want that I pick them from school. They are always looking forward to me picking them from school, because that is the culture for me I instilled from day one. I would go and pick them because I want us to judge. How was your day? How are you? How was school? So they would tell me stories. They would tell me they dance for me.
And through that, you can find out what's happening in their lives. Because, kids are that age, if you're not in their life present, they can not be open to telling you, like, if they are being bullied or if even they get abused. Like, I know so many people who have been sharing that they got abused at a young age and they didn't share with their parents because they didn't know how to start sharing. But if you have a relationship with your child like that, then that's true. The child can open up to you one way or another.
Yes, they will tell you, because you'll ask them, how is your teacher? Today was my teacher's birthday. What did you sing for her? Like some of those small things. Who is your friend at school? And they'll open up and tell you, my friend is so and so. My friend, who do you share with your snack? Like those small things. So for you, if you think that, oh, don't tell me, mommy, and say, leave me alone. I mean, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're harming. For me, I've told you, I never saw my mom miss any visitation day. Nothing. Whether she would just boil rice and come with the rice. She would just do fried spaghetti and bring what? Yes, we'll just sit and talk.
If only parents could understand. Like, I want to write a book addressing that specific issue, because just like you, as you know, my dad was not there. And I'm like, dude, if you had just come for me, that was enough.
I know.
Like, that's all I wanted to see.
For you, you're saying that. For me, then there's a moment I was like, I wish this man would just get the bananas, because the plantations are there in the village. You just say, bitoches are here, these bananas are here. Let me put them on link. You and guys figure out how to pick them from the bus. Okay, let us figure out. Let us figure out.
But Maggie, you have to understand also, this person who is doing this to you, they are dealing with their own trauma from their past. Like, there's a thing that has made them think that the only way they can be present parents is if they are able to provide. That is something that society has inflicted on us. And it makes people like, how can you be there and you call yourself a man and you cannot even give your children this and this?
But do you
being
know,
a man is being
that,
present.
But do you know that for me, I have spoken into my daddy's life when I grew up, and man, you don't know how he fears me. Like, but like, because we had these hard talks. Like I openly, I've told you my things are open discussion. I told my dad, and I told him, you know what, you don't have to give me, because I know you don't have. You don't have. Like he has transformed. At least he beeps me and I call back. At least he calls. And I'm like, okay, how are you guys in the day? And he just says, oh, I just go to check on you. That is enough. That is enough. You don't have to give me because I know you don't have.
No, you are giving something. That's something you're giving me, your time.
But no, because for them, they are thinking they have to dig into that because
money,
I know you don't have the money. Yes, you don't have the money. But just beep me. I call and it's like, oh, I just wanted to know how you're doing. That is okay. That is okay. For a parent, that is enough. But you cannot just pretend like as if you don't exist in your child's life. Now that is bad. That is why children grow up with the anger, you know, and sometimes because it's always women that support about 95%. So the men think, oh, these mothers talking to these children. It's like, no mother, but let me tell you, some of these mothers don't talk, but these children see. If you have never literally,
a kid can see how you're treating their child, their mom,
and we are
their dad.
And we are into this modern world. Some men don't do pickups for children, neither do they do drops. So what do you expect? Like your child knows you don't have time for them. At least say this week I am offering to do the pick and drop. At least if I drop, do the pickup. But if you literally do nothing, rest of me, I walk. Like you've said, I can go a whole week. I am not home. I am out of the country. But man, when I come back, my presence has to be felt. I have to be. I compensate. I drop them and I pick them from school. I drop them and I pick them from school. My kids' school is nearby. Sometimes we just walk. I hold them by the hand. We walk while conversing. Even in the evening, we walk back home on foot, conversing and talking and
that's
chatting.
All they'll remember. They won't remember your cars. They won't remember all those other things. Yeah.
I get them by the hand. We come walking back home. Let's do an evening walk. We walk back home, just jazzing and talking. And they always look for. They say, "Mommy, are you the one who's going to pick us? Mommy, are you the one?" Why would they be asking that? I don't do much. I don't pick them and take them to KFC. I don't have that money. I don't pick them and take them to do shopping. I don't do that. But I just give them my time. When I know I am there, I will give it all. I drop in the morning. Even the teachers say it. Yes, very. Just that to show that you're there. They don't. Sometimes people think you have to buy a lot, then you do this. No.
Yeah,
no. That's why I tell you, my mom is my hero. Even when she didn't have, she was there.
You see the interesting thing about what you're explaining. There's this cartoon. I don't know if you've watched it. It's a cartoon that explains exactly that. It explains that the mind of a young child. What is it called? Inside Out. It's called Inside Out. You should get it and watch it. I think the kids will really love it. So this cartoon, apparently the guy who, the artist who came up with the idea, I read that he had, like, when he was raising his child, everything was perfect, you know, when the baby was young. Because he was a present dad, but he was like an artist in Hollywood. Until the kid got to 13 years old there. Then he found that the kid was angry at him all the time. He was like, what have I done wrong? So he didn't understand what was going on in this child's life. And he started talking to his friends at work who were like doing animation. And then they came up with this thing to understand the brain of a teenager. Literally, the cartoon is about how a child, everything was fine, and they keep showing different things that are happening, like the changes in the child's life, you know. They are showing that they're moving from one place to another. They moved from their home, they uprooted this child from where they were staying, and then they took them into a different city. So because of that, now they show the cartoons inside the child's brain. Now the cartoon inside the child's brain, they are showing that there's long-term memory and there's short-term memory. Now, from the time a child is a baby, that's why they say when you're with your child, bond with a child. You know, they say that thing like hold your child together. It doesn't matter whether you're in Dakasisira or you're in poverty in a hut,
wherever you are.
The only thing, like there's short-term memory. The short-term memory is, we have a house. That's it. The long-term memory is, how did this thing make me feel? That child is going to hold on to that for the rest of their lives. And that's the most important thing. I was even telling Imi the other day, we laugh at this. When we traveled to the States, you know, these guys had all these big things planned that were costing them an arm and a leg. But guess what? After we came back, the only thing Kendrick and Kendra remember, the time we spent together in the house. That's it. They don't remember Smanya cruise. Like when you tell them cruise, it doesn't excite them as much. Oh, you are in Mexico, you are in this. Kendrick doesn't remember that. All they remember is we went to Auntie Imaculate's place, and at Auntie Imaculate's place, we would wake up every day. It was family all together. We used to watch movies together. As soon as they left, imagine, as soon as they came back to Uganda, they asked their mom and dad, when are we going back to Auntie Imaculate's place? They didn't ask when are we going back to the cruise.
See?
So that showed me so much. It showed me so much how parents can break their arms and legs thinking that finances are the most
things
important
that
thing.
don't. Yes.
When your child, you can literally do a house, like a stay-at-home house thing at home, and that's all they are going to remember for the rest of their lives. That my dad and my mom, they made time to be there for us, and I guess that you're an example of this. You're a person who is not saying, you have not mentioned anything about your mom spent money on this. All you've said is my mom was there for me. Yeah.
Was there. Whether you eat your portion, you eat it when you're happy together with her. When you like whatever she has provided, you know, like we are having it together with her, and that is it. These parties we want to throw around, and the money is we are there. Oh, if I had money, I would have done this. No, just
parties
do what
in
you
Uganda
can do.
Become a different thing. You see at a 1-year-old party, and you're like, is this a wedding or what? Anyway,
she doesn't even understand.
She
doesn't even understand.
Anyways, this was a very good. I think it's a very good conversation to have, and it's very important to hear it from someone. For any parent out there, it's important for that parent to hear it from someone who went through that life, because in many cases, parents feel like I'm not doing enough, but what you're doing is enough if you're a present parent and if you protect your mental state. Because if you're a healthy parent, then you will raise healthy children.
You don't have to pass on anything toxic to them. You don't have to. Because it will affect them. It will affect them.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So we have to deal with our pain. We have to deal with our pain and give babies what they want to see. We cannot give them toxic lives. No.
Yeah, that's true.
We have to refine ourselves.
And says, my mom was going through so much, but she was there. She was there. Despite the breakups, despite the what, my mom was there. That's very key. Thank you so much for sharing.
The blows are part of life.
Yeah. Would you like to share, maybe just to speak to a woman out there from your experience? Because I can see, like what you said, what happened to you, how you see the world presence is very important, and so many other things that you've said, and how do you see yourself, first of all, before we conclude?
For me, I look at myself and I thank God. And I always say, God, thank you for this far He has brought me. He's really brought me through a lot. If I am able to stand today and provide for my children and put food on the table, I don't know whatever I put on the table, as long as I know that my children have had lunch, they have had dinner. That is enough for me. For me, that is a score. You know, it is a score. Not having to sit and cry for people and beg here and there. No. That is a score, and I always thank God for that. And for me, what I would tell women out there, like, every woman needs to be empowered in one way or another. These issues of because I read a lot of things. I see stories, by the way. I read a lot of women's stories, and you see people crying. And do you know that even these days there are men that feel like we are nagging them, like, man, this woman of mine, you know, like. So I would tell women out there, it is not that all the time you have to be begging your husband or asking from your husband. You've got to do something. Your children have to feel proud of you. You know, days of stay-home mothers and all that, you know, you cannot go out there and look for something to do. There are women in town here in Kampala, you will find them on the streets selling the little that they can. And that is what every woman... And these days,
there's a lot of opportunities digitally. Like, you have your phone, start a business. And start it
and that is home. What, for me, if you're telling me to speak in any woman's life, I will speak that way. Because, you know, we are financially constrained. Every time we wake up, we say, oh, I would have done this, but I don't have money. I would have done, but I'm not empowered financially. Blah, blah. But that is not the song that we are going to sing forever. Get something and start working on something. Because let me tell you, it will be so shameful for a child to grow up knowing it is only father who provides. What about mom? You know, like, what does mom put on table? A child asks, Mommy, can I have an ice cream? And you want to first ask the father. All the children have said, then you get a phone call and call. All the children said they want ice cream. What about you? Let them see you dig deep into your pocket, picking however little you have and buy for them something. They will know mommy has bought. No, it is not daddy, it is mommy. But why do we put our children to always think that it is mommy, 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 mommy? I mean, dad, 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 dad. So every woman out there has got to do something, because we are getting onto the nerves of these men, like shame upon us. You know, why do you always want to beg? You want to beg the man for hair. You want to put your budget for hair on the man. You want to put your budget for nails on the man. I mean, the dress you want. And then if they don't give you, so you're there talking, oh, he doesn't give me this, he doesn't provide it. I mean, they are breaking. Look at the economy. Look at the economy resting. Right now in Kampala, one person cannot sustain a family. So everybody has got to contribute. And even if you're a single mom, you've got to do something. Do what you can in your means, but make sure you're up to something. Don't sit home the whole day from morning. Do you know that some of these women even go online? They go on TikTok. They do things, and you're like, okay, where does somebody get data to go on WhatsApp
if you have
the
data,
whole
then you
day?
can start a business really in this
You know,
we're in.
Yes, somebody wants a smartphone. You've gotten money to have a smartphone. I've seen these women resting. You have and for me, I tell them point blank, okay, how did you get this smartphone? So you have a smartphone and you can get data to do TikTok and do videos and put online and you know. So, but what else are you doing? What are you putting on table? You know, and this is where men go berserk with us, like somebody's mad and is like, this woman, like she has the nuts to spend the whole day on Facebook, the whole day on WhatsApp, the whole day on TikTok, doing videos, recording. But what are you bringing onto the table? You know, how are you shaping your children? So we should stop crying. You know, we should stop this crying around and let us wake up and work. Yes, anything we can put hands on. You know, what does the Bible say? That he will bless the works of our hands. Whatever we put hands on, God is going to bless. He's going to bless. Even us personally, I am telling you that it's been a journey. But why? You dive into this, God opens up another opportunity. You dive into this, he opens up a door. You dive into this, he brings you into something. Because if you're home, where are you getting the connections from? You cannot get connections. You cannot get anything out of other people. But when you step out there in the community and hear what another woman has to say, you will wake up. You will know that it is not me alone. Sometimes women are putting these stories, oh, because the man left me, and then you say, are you the only one that the man has left? There are multitudes of women out there that men have left, but they are thriving. They are thriving. Let us
you
not.
have to ask
let
yourself,
us not.
what did I do different?
Yes.
What have they done that I can also do?
Yes. Let us thrive. There are women out there sharing their stories. But if you keep cocooning to your own place, your own apartment, and you're there, you think you're not the first and you're not the last. Because these things are not yet to stop. They are not going to stop tomorrow. I am not seeing them stopping. So the earlier you throw out the blanket, the better for yourself. The better for yourself. And for me, that is why I tell the women that I mentor, both at church and anywhere. The thing that has happened to you, you're not the first one. People have lost husbands, but have they stayed at that? No. For you, even yours is alive. He has just walked out. He's alive. But there are those that have buried their men and they even have no hope of seeing them again. You know, but they have risen up. They have risen. They have brought up children. They have paid children's fees out of what? Rest the people sell food, just cassava. People sell gonja on the road. People roast maize. Like, so me, I would go and support a woman who is already doing something out there, other than one who is just seated there and crying. If I find a lady who is roasting maize in my community, that one is my friend. For me, where I stay, they know me. There are even those that are selling and they say, today you've not bought rice. I will say, I'm going to buy. I have all the reasons to get money and support that one, other than just giving you. Because you see, if we keep giving women money, they don't know, they won't know value for money. Give somebody who is already at job. Me, I am glad to support those that are producing liquid soap. And for me, those are my customers. Those are people I always buy from. Even if I don't want to buy, I will be forced to buy. Because I am like, if I buy from this person, I am making a difference. I am changing something.
That's true.
Other than somebody who is home just seated. So all women have got to go out there. Me, I would rather support somebody who is on job you're roasting maize. I can eat as many because I am a maize eater. I will eat as many as I can because you're roasting. Yeah, let me give you money in what, in exchange for something. Let me not just give you money, because it is not sustainable. Resting. People want to support. Yes, but if I came and bought for you food today, am I going to buy for you food forever? I can't. I might provide today, but tomorrow I will not. So if you showed me that you're doing something, let me come and buy from you, because you're looking for customers. So if I came and supported your business, then you're thriving. I am contributing. So for me, that is my message to women out there, because some of these challenges are not going to end tomorrow. We are into them. We are trying to make things work, but let us help ourselves. When situations come, they shall get us there. Opportunities come to those that are ready. They will not find you deep down into your house. So just, get shining out there. Opportunity will find you out there. Even ourselves, opportunities have found us out there. They didn't find us in houses sleeping. It finds you out. Before you know, you're connected to somebody who can be picking food from you. Somebody will be buying matoke from you daily. That is a customer. You note and say, hey, I have this person. At least I know every week she has to buy food from me. So that is how you add up your coins. 1 + 1 will equal to something. Yeah.
Thank you so
So
much,
for me,
Maggie.
that is it. They say your network is your net worth. So
yes, that's very true. Thank you so much for that. And I appreciate the information that you shared with us, like from your heart, from your experience. And to any person out there who is listening, well, if you're out there seated, waiting for things to come to you, you've had Maggie. She was cleaning and she ended up in the office, like from a cleaner. That's what the movie would say. From a cleaner, the Nigerian title. From cleaner
you dive into the corporate world.
To corporate world. And now she's out there changing lives of other women and impacting our democracy and everything. Like what you're doing is doing a lot for our country. Like you're contributing a lot to the state because you did not sit in your problems and consider yourself a victim. So
I literally walk in every political party today. There's no political party that I've not dived into. I will go to any political party.
So people who are listening, I hope that this can be a very inspiring story for you, and do not forget to share this message with any other person out there that needs this. Those people who are seated at home, send them this message. And see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you so much, Maggie.
You're welcome.
Please help me spread the word by sharing our episodes with your friends, family, and followers. Let's amplify the voices of women, break barriers, challenge stereotypes, and create a network of support and empowerment. Together, we can bring about positive change and make this world a better place for all. This is SheCentre, the female podcast, where women's stories matter. I love you all. God bless.